Some of the biggest music stars are those that have been a part of the industry since childhood. Artists that were thrown in the industry at early ages seeing massive success while still being relatively young. To the world, these young stars appear to be living a dream life. They appear to have what everyone is desperately working for and achieved it at such a young age. On top of the wealth, they are famous and loved all around the world. While this is definitely true, a lot of sinister things happen behind the scenes that most people don't get to see. Things that if they knew about, they would agree it's not worth going through for money and fame. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos every other day exposing the truth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the young victims of the music industry. Let's get right into it. Just by looking at people like Diddy and his allegations, you will quickly realize that the music industry is no place for children. Through Diddy's situation, we can easily determine the music industry is full of sick demonic activities. Nothing a child should ever be exposed to for the sake of preserving their childhood and having a normal upbringing like all kids deserve. It's important for a person to experience certain things like sex at the right age and right time, not when they're kids, during the middle of a celebrity party hosted by no other than Diddy. Sadly, this was the reality for many of these child stars who went into the industry young and fresh. They want to experience an industry party they've heard all about, only to be taken advantage of by monsters like Diddy. The masses swear that these child stars are living a dream life when in reality, they're being forced to be a part of Diddy freak-offs. Hollywood and the music industry has the world fooled as they believe being in a show business is a blessing from God, when in reality, is a trap set by the devil. It's obvious some of the biggest young artists in the industry were taken advantage of in many ways, and in today's episode, we will be taking a look at some of these young victims of the industry to determine what they were put through for that fame and fortune. I want to kick this one off with one of the oldest cases of young artists being taken advantage of, with the story of Michael Jackson. We all know the story of Michael Jackson, the king of pop who has started as the adorable, talented little kid that the world would get to see become the biggest in the industry. Michael is definitely one of the most successful child stars to have ever lived. He sold millions of records worldwide and had the world at his feet. The only problem with Michael's career was the many inappropriate allegations made against him. If you saw my video on Michael or my uncensored Patreon version, you would know exactly what I think about Michael and his allegations. While in those videos, I explained why he was guilty. I also explained why I believe he became that kind of person to begin with. He was groomed at a young age in the music industry. With Michael, it seems to have started all bad from the very beginning, as his father was reportedly an abusive man who often took out his anger on Michael. Joe Jackson wanted his kids to be stars, so he pushed them too far in order to achieve that. He had his children consistently focused on music and performance, making them rehearse their songs and dances for hours until they got it down perfect. His father would also physically discipline his children whenever they messed up their songs. It seems that Joe was the man who started grooming Michael for the industry, as it was even once reported by Michael's former doctor that Joe had Michael's private parts chemically altered in order to keep his voice from changing due to puberty. Conrad Murray claimed that Joe forced Michael to get hormone injections at the age of 12 to cure his acne and prevent his voice from changing. Just think about how disturbing this is to have your own father chemically alter you just to continue to use you for his financial gain. Joe was breaking his kids in. He was preparing them for what the industry was going to be. Michael was going through a lot as a child, and it only got worse once his father was actually able to sell him to Hollywood. Once Michael became a star, he didn't only have to worry about his father taking advantage of him, but now those in the industry as well. Michael started being exposed to the behind the scenes of the music industry as a small child. He traveled around with his brothers to perform at local gentlemen clubs and bars. He saw what no 9-year-old child should be seeing, and he was constantly exposed to that lifestyle. As he got more famous, he was now around the real Hollywood scene, and it soon consumed him. When Michael Jackson was only 11 years old, he actually moved in with Diana Ross, who was a 25-year-old woman. Michael at the time referred to Diana Ross as his mama and his girlfriend. It was well known that Michael and Diana were having a relationship. I don't even want to imagine what a grown 25-year-old woman was doing living with an 11-year-old boy. What's sad is that Michael referred to Diana as the one that got away. I am confident Diana wasn't the only one who took advantage of Michael, as he was in the industry full of monsters. It was was obvious that as big as a star as he became, he was indeed a monster himself because of what these monsters had done to him. While Michael was at the peak of his career, one of the biggest stars in the world, allegations started to be made against him by many different children. He was being painted as a complete monster, and in my Patreon video, I showed plenty of evidence that proved Michael was actually involved with these children. All of these accusations proved to us that Michael, although had the world, couldn't escape what the industry had done to him and made him. In the end, while the record labels made Michael the biggest star to ever live, they also played a part in destroying his life, stealing his music rights, and then getting rid of him. Michael sadly never had a chance as he was forced into all of this by his father. His father forced him into the industry for his financial gain. He abused him and overworked him to make him a star just so he can benefit from it. After Michael dedicated his entire life to the music industry, he gets taken out by the very men in the music industry. It is well known that Michael went out in a mysterious way. While his doctor was made to take the blame for his passing, my investigation revealed that Michael was most likely eliminated by the elite over at Sony in order to buy his music rights that he refused to sell. Before Michael passed away, he was in an intense beef with Sony Records and called out many of their executives, calling them the devil. Michael was on this campaign to fight the industry, and it made him a target that was worth more gone than alive. The label got rid of Michael and then bought his rights from his parents. Michael, although he became a monster, was taken advantage of from beginning to end. He never truly had a chance, as he was sold to the industry as a child. This all reminds me of the next artist we're going to be talking about, Justin Bieber. While Justin might not be close to the caliber of Michael Jackson, his life and career seem to mirror Michael's in a few ways. Justin Bieber, just like Michael, was trying to get into the music industry at a young age, something he managed to achieve. He would end up getting discovered off a YouTube video, and then he got signed to R&B legend Usher. He then went on to become the biggest child pop star of the 2010s. Dropping nothing but hit after hit that was consumed by his die-hard teen audience. In the 2010s, you couldn't escape Justin Bieber. His face and music were everywhere. Just like Michael, this made Justin grow up faster than kids his age, as he was introduced to a lifestyle kids his age don't ever get to experience. Because of Justin's immense fame, he was invited to the exclusive Hollywood parties. He was at those mansions where the freak-off parties were going on, and possibly even participated in them. Many inappropriate moments were caught on camera, showing just how Hollywood was grooming the young Justin from early in his career. Videos like these have recently began going viral, showing moments where other adult celebrities were being clearly inappropriate with Justin, like this video of a grown Katy Perry grabbing a teenage Justin's butt, or videos like this one of James Gordon seemingly flirting with Justin live on TV.
I'm excited.
Can I say this? Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Wow, look at your eyes. What music are you listening to at the moment, Justin?
Justin was also questioned many a times about girlfriends and if he was already hooking up with girls, all while still being a teenager. It was obvious that not only was Bieber being sexualized at a young age, but those in Hollywood were grooming him the entire time. This especially became obvious when Usher sent Justin to stay with P. Diddy for 48 hours when he was only 15. Something Usher had experienced himself as a child, as he was also sent to live with Diddy when he was in his teens. While Justin was staying with Diddy, they made this video in which Diddy explains what the two were going to be doing together. Diddy made it clear that he had some wild plans set up for him and Justin, claiming that they were going to get buck wild crazy, even stating that he couldn't reveal what they were doing, but that it was all 15-year-old boys' dreams.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album, and we gonna go full crazy.
Considering what Diddy is being accused of nowadays, it's safe to assume that Diddy was referring to inappropriate activities when he said him and Justin were going to get buck wild. For years after this video, Justin would be seen at Diddy parties and hanging out at the club with Diddy. It's obvious that Justin was at some of those Diddy private parties where the freak-offs were going on. When Justin was getting into his older teen years, everyone saw him rebelling and had no idea why. They didn't know what Justin was being put through in this industry that people idolize so much. His behavior was partly a reaction to what the industry had done to him. All of this at a young age would eventually consume Justin, as he would go on to develop a substance addiction, which over the years consumed him. A child star who was always smiling when he first got in the industry can now be seen drained of life and depressed at such a young age. In this interview he did with Apple Music, Justin talks about his life as a child star and how it was dark and almost destroyed him. He talks about what he was put through and how it put him on a course of self-destruction.
I think that I was just, living in this shame and all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on.
Do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%, yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. And just think about how young I was and so impressionable, and you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, and like...
It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room full of nothing but sweets.
Right.
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. I just want people to understand, psychology behind why I potentially have problems in my life, so.
As you heard for yourself, Justin admits that all he was put through was dark and had destroyed them. Something else Justin talks about in this interview was Billie Eilish, who at the time was a new child star in the industry. Justin takes his time to warn Billie about the very things he was put through while in the industry.
With Billie Eilish,
Right.
who in her own way, dealing with this very, very public explosion of success and of attention.
It was so quick. Yeah, she's crazy. She's a superstar.
What was going through your mind when you saw that reaction?
I wanted to protect the moment. I don't know how many opportunities I'm going to get. We never know how many opportunities we're going to get with anybody. I just wanted to be a good example. And it was hard for me being that young and being in the industry, not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But just protecting those moments, because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through, I wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
As you heard for yourself, Justin very emotionally states that he doesn't want Billie Eilish to go through what he was put through when he was young in the industry. He even tells her that he's here for her. You can see in Justin's face just how emotional he is. He remembered all he was put through by those monsters in the music industry and was barely able to talk to warn Billie, as he only knows what she is currently being put through. Many people point to Justin's music video for his song Yummy as Justin secretly exposing Hollywood. I went over this video multiple times and didn't see any moments where he seemed to be exposing Hollywood. I don't know, maybe I just missed something, but I wouldn't be surprised if Justin did come out and expose Hollywood. If you think about it, he basically just did in this interview by saying what he said. It's obvious that Justin was taken advantage of since a teenager, just like the next star we're going to be talking about, Aaliyah. In the 90s, Aaliyah was the hot new R&B singer out. At 14, she dropped her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, and it was an instant success. She was an overnight star just like that. The only thing is that Aaliyah's success at that point had already come with a sinister price, as she was already being taken advantage of by men in the industry. At only age 12, Aaliyah was introduced to the R&B legend R. Kelly, who was already a grown man. This was the moment that would change Aaliyah's life forever, as Kelly fell for her and made her his new girlfriend. The only reason Aaliyah had a music career was because of Kelly, as he got her signed to Jive Records due to their relationship. This relationship, although hidden, would eventually get serious, as it was reported that Kelly married Aaliyah when she was only 15 years old. It was reported that they legally got married in February 1995, with the marriage being annulled by Aaliyah's parents. After marrying her, he made Aaliyah sign an NDA that would forbid her or her parents from talking about their wedding. This hidden relationship went on for years, all while Aaliyah became a bigger and bigger star. What's disgusting is that Aaliyah had to be romantically involved with Kelly just so that he can help her music career. What's sad about this though is that her family was the ones who allowed this to happen. Just like Michael Jackson, they sold Aaliyah to the industry for money. They allowed their daughter to marry a monster like R. Kelly so they can benefit from her career. With Kelly, we saw how those in the music industry protected him for years. People knew what he had done, as a video of him being inappropriate with a young fan was circulating after it happened. In the early 2000s, Kelly was arrested and charged with crimes against a female who was featured in the video that was leaked to the world. He would go to trial and beat the case, even though everyone knew he was guilty. While the tape was presented as evidence and many people saw this tape, Kelly was still allowed to go free. This was because Kelly was being protected by those in the industry. It's the reason I believe Aaliyah was taken out as well. Since the 90s, R. Kelly was being investigated for crimes against young women, as before he was arrested in the 2000s, other young girls had come out and made accusations against him. In the early 2000s, Kelly was a huge superstar, the biggest R&B sensation out. His record label would have had it in their best interest to bury all of Kelly's skeletons to protect their investment. They knew if Kelly's true nature would be exposed, his music career would be over. So they protected him from being exposed. And one person who posed a massive threat for Kelly back in the 2000s was no other than Aaliyah, who was legally married to him when she was only 18. When I looked into Aaliyah's passing, I saw a lot of strange coincidences that made me feel she was set up in order to protect Kelly. Taking Aaliyah out was the best possible outcome for the label and R. Kelly, as by getting rid of her, they would protect Kelly's career as she won't be able to tell her story, and also they could immortalize her career because she passed away before her time. This was the best possible solution for the label, a win-win. Now if we look at Aaliyah's passing, we find out she passed in a private plane that crashed shortly after it took off. There were a lot of strange inconsistencies reported about this private plane ride. First off, Aaliyah arrived at the airport and did not want to board the plane. When she refused, she was actually forced to take a sedative that put her to sleep. She was then carried onto the plane that would go on to fall out of the sky shortly after taking off. Even more alarming, it was reported that she was using a brand new pilot who was discovered to have been under the influence while operating the plane. All of this stuck out to me and clearly points to foul play. It's truly sad to think that Aaliyah, just like Michael, didn't really have a chance. She was sold to the industry by her parents in order for them to take advantage of her financially. She had to do things with Kelly, who was much older than her, just so that she can get a shot in the industry. After Kelly, she was passed around from men to men in the industry as she climbed in status. You can almost say that Kelly essentially cost Aaliyah everything, including her life, as if she would have never crossed paths with Kelly, she would still most likely be here. After hearing these three stories, you should realize that being a child star in the industry is just not worth it at all. No matter how much money you make or how much fame you acquire, it's simply not worth the price. These kids were made to not only sacrifice their childhoods, but their entire lives. And these were only some of the young stars that were victims of Hollywood, but there's a few others that I didn't get into in this video. So if you guys want to see a part 2, comment part 2 below and I'll make sure to get that done. Well, that's it for this video. But before you guys go, I just wanted to ask you guys to please like, comment, and share this video so that it'll be recommended to others. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.